Okay, here we are on the Canvas site. This should look pretty similar to what you see when you first show up to the Canvas website. I'm going to be using section 86472, but yours might be different, but all the rest of that is going to be the same. The first thing I'm going to do is look at some important files over here in the Files section that I want you to take a look at. One of them is the syllabus, and one of them is the course policy sheet, if you want to download both of those. The syllabus might be different from what you think of a syllabus normally. It's not the thing that tells you all the rules in the textbook and things like that for the course. The syllabus is this thing. So this is one of the most important things that you'll be using this semester, because it will tell you what sections we're going to be working on each week. And it also, in this column, tells you the suggested textbook problems. So when students ask me what they need to know for the exam that's coming up or what they should study, my answer is always going to be the same. You should look at these problems in the textbook, and if you can start with a blank sheet of paper and do those problems, then that means that you're prepared for the exam, right? These problems give you the concepts that you need in order to do well in this course. So certainly take a look at all of them, right? So you can get a good idea of what the exam is going to look like. In the written assignments, we'll probably pick out a few of these problems to just have you work through to make sure that you really know those well, and I can catch any little mistakes that you make there. Another reason why this is an important document is it'll tell you the days that we have off, and it'll also tell you when the exams are. So you can see the schedule for the exams. One thing I want to point out here is that we don't have class on Labor Day. So if you are a student that has Monday recitations, and we'll get to that in a little bit, then I'm just going to have you show up to online recitations on Friday instead. All right, so that is the one file, the syllabus. So make sure you download that. Make it easy to find for yourself. The other important document is this course content guide. So this will have things like my office hours and my email, and 5 pages sort of explaining everything that we need to know about this course. So if you have a question about the course, it's probably answered in this one. I would read the whole thing from top to bottom, but I'm going to go through some of the key points in here, just so that you know where everything is that I'm referring to here. All right, so that's the files. One other thing that you're going to find in the files is these recitation worksheets. So each week you are required to come to one recitation session. So those times that are listed on the timetable, make sure you click on your own CRN too. They're a little bit strange the way that they show up there. So there's 4 recitation sessions, one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and one on Friday. I sent an email out a little earlier asking if anybody had any preference for going online or being in person. But anyway, once a week. So if you show up on Monday, then you are done with doing recitations for the whole week. If you are sick for any reason, please do not show up to the in-person class. Just go to the Friday session. Send me an email letting me know that you're not feeling well, and that's why you're not going to be there. But plan on showing up to your assigned recitation schedule. So what we'll be working on this first week is this recitation worksheet that you'll see here. and that is something that you should download, and you should be able to access that, either print this out and bring it to class, or you can just have a tablet or a laptop where you can have access to this thing here. This semester, if you come to the in-person recitations, I'm not going to be handing out any papers. I'm not going to be collecting any papers from you, just to avoid touching common papers between us. So yeah, if you can have your own copy, then that would be great. Okay, so I think that's it for the files for now. You'll find some things a little later in the semester in that files spot there. The next thing I want to look at is your modules. So for the modules, this is where you're going to find the lecture videos and the lecture notes. So this is home to hours and hours and hours of content. Right now, I have everything that's going to be on exam 1 down here. So you'll probably only be able to access the test 1 material right now. At least you should only be able to. But if you click on that link, then you will get at the very top a link to the lecture notes. So you can download those. These have been made by one of the other instructors, Kelly Karcher, who is also the person who is doing these lecture videos. So she is listed, you can see here, as the course designer. So you'll become very familiar with her. Okay, so that's where you will find the lecture videos. So that is what you're expected to kind of listen to along with and fill out the notes that are provided. And by the end of the section, you should have a good base for some of the questions that you'll need to do at the end. It tells you that you have some assignments to do at the end. So there's a quiz that'll show you. There's a homework assignment, which is some of those book problems that I referred to. You have your WebAssign quiz. So WebAssign is the online homework section, and then it has a list of some of the syllabus problems that you can do from this section. That's the same as what you see in the syllabus under those textbook problems questions. So every week, for example, in week 1, I want you to submit your filled in notes. This is kind of the way that you can indicate to me that you've been watching the lecture videos and following along. For example, in week 1, you can see here we've got section 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3, half of that. So what I'd like you to submit for those online notes is sections 2.1 and 2.2. 2.3 if you're finished with them, but that's not going to be required until week 2. But always a good idea. Again, I've unlocked everything all the way up to 2.8, so there's no limit to your the amount of lecture videos you can watch. Okay, so let's see, what else can we look at? So that was under modules, right? You can find the lecture videos and the notes, download those. If you want to schedule office hours with me, you can click on this Zoom link, and it'll tell you when all the office hours are, and you can just join in on that. So you can see my schedule here, and if basically I will start walking to my office on campus and load up Zoom as soon as I get there. So if you need to have office hours with me, it's 1:30 to 2:30, Monday through Wednesday. If this is not a good time slot for you, or especially if you're in one of my early morning classes and you just want to speak with me after, then that would be a good time to do that. I have a little break in between here. If none of those times work for you, then you can always schedule an appointment with me. So that would best be done through email. Just send me an email saying these are the times that I'm available, and I will find one of those times to work with you. If you miss your recitation, like I said, or if you're too sick or you're even just a little bit sick, then please go to the online recitations. So don't show up to the in-person, just show up to the online one. And that will always take place on my personal ID. So I will make that announcement on Canvas. You can see it there. Speaking of announcements, it's strangely not showing up. It should show up for you. Maybe if I refresh the page, it'll show up. But at least on the home screen, you can see some announcements. This is where I'll do things like remind you that you have some assignments due on Sundays. This is a spot where I'll also tell you that you have an exam coming up. So always be checking these announcements, and you can even find a way to sign up for automatic emails every time that I make an announcement. So that's under settings. I'll have you, I'll maybe post a little guide on how to do that later, but I'm going to keep moving through this. Okay, so assignments. This is where you're going to see the quizzes that are referred to at the end of the lecture content. So basically my due date for this class, for everything that's not the WebAssign, I'm going to have it due at midnight or 11:59 p.m. Eastern time, Virginia time zone, Sundays. So Sunday, 11:59 p.m. The following things are going to be due. You should have your lecture notes filled in and submitted to me. You should have your quizzes, so these things finished. So I'll show you an example of one of these quizzes. This is for section 2.2. It says it's locked, but it'll be some multiple choice questions, maybe one or two fill in the blanks. But you get a lot of attempts at these. These are not something that you should, these are only for your benefit, right? These are just kind of a, yes, I watched the videos and I understand the concepts in there. So I'm giving you 4 attempts for each of these, and there's, I think at most 4 answer choices on this. So you should be getting 100% on all of these. These are just for your own benefit. So let's see. I was talking about the assignments, right? So those are due on Sunday, and you should also do any homework problems. So that's the written assignment textbook problems that I assign. You will find that under written assignments. So these written, for example, this is written week 1. This is where you'll submit the online lecture notes. This is where you're going to submit a PDF of your textbook problems. Again, I'm not going to be collecting any papers, so you need to either find a way to give me a digital copy of your handwritten homework, or you need to take a picture of your assignment and send it to me there. I accept PDFs, PNGs, JPEG, and those are the 3. when you take a picture of your assignment, please make an attempt to not send me something that, is at this angle, right? Send it to me head on, light it, just use your artistic talent to make it look as readable as possible. If it is enormous too, try to resize it so that it's easy for me to see. It doesn't need to be HD, right? I get sometimes some things that are 4K, which is impressive. That it's not, it's nice that your phone can do that, but it also just shows up huge, and I need to, shrink it down to 5% zoom to see it. So just try to make it a reasonable size that shows up normally on screen. Some software that works really well is something called Office Lens. So if you go to the App Store and look up Office Lens, I think it's Android and iPhone app, that will sort of automatically take a picture that looks like this. This is it zoomed out, and it'll automatically rotate it, so that it's facing forward. So I really like that one. If you want to check that one out, it's Office Lens. Okay, so the WebAssign. Again, it looks like these are locked for me until class actually starts. But if you click on this link, then you should see a link here that says go to WebAssign. So there is the WebAssign website. All right, webassign.net. But the way that you're going to access WebAssign is through Canvas. So when you click on assignments, you'll see that it's locked, but once the class actually starts, then you should have a link to WebAssign here. So that's what you're going to click on. This is the FAQ down here, and that'll kind of give you all the information that you need to sign up for WebAssign. It's got videos telling you sort of what version of the textbook you should be using. Since you have options to get a hardcover copy of the book or to get a bound copy or just a digital copy, since we're doing an online class, I guess I would suggest that you do the online copy. And if you plan on taking more than just this calculus class, then you should probably buy the multi-semester. I forget exactly what the name of it is, but there's a multi-semester version where you can have WebAssign codes for Calculus 1, Calculus 2, and Calculus 3 are the classes that use that. So yeah, definitely consider getting that one. Okay, next spot. So this is also very important. The People tab. So you should, I don't want to show this for too long, but if you click on the groups page, then you can see what group you are in. So this is very important because when you look at the groups, this will show you what recitation you're going to show up to. So if you can find your name, I'm not exactly sure what it'll look like for you, since I, am looking at it as an instructor. But you should be able to figure out when your recitation is. This tells you what day you're expected to show up, what time it starts, and what building it's going to be in. So this is McBride, this is Pamplin, and then we also have the online version that's happening on Fridays. I am willing to sort of switch people around if it can be accommodated. I don't want to do that too much, but if you have a work schedule that has a conflict with this, or if you have some reason that you need to be in the online section instead, then you can just share that with me. There is a capacity for all these rooms in order to keep everybody socially distanced, or 6 feet, right? Then there's a certain number of students that can be in the classroom at each time, and I'm trying to keep those limits down. So if we actually look at my schedule here in parentheses, these are sort of the caps on all these rooms. So I do need to abide by that, and I'd rather not have it exactly at the cap. I'd rather keep it a little bit lower. So that's how it's currently set up now. You can see the names for the different sections on there. So find yourself, and that will tell you where and when the recitations that you need to go to are happening. Okay. Another page on here is the Math 1225 website. So if you look at this, this has some of the other information on here. I would appreciate it if you read the honor system info, and yeah, some other things like department contacts and things like that are here on the website. So this is brand new. I haven't poked around on everything on here, but you can look at some information about the derivative test. So this is kind of a just a basic skills test. Calculus 1, very broadly speaking, is about derivatives. And we just want to make sure that you have those skills of taking a derivative, right? Because that's the basis for a lot of what you'll be doing in Calculus 2. And taking a derivative is something that we'll assume that you know how to do in Calculus 2, and we'll assume that you know how to do in Calculus 3, differential equations. So we are implementing this derivative test. So that'll be a short test that you just need to pass, and you'll get full credit for that. I think that's everything for the Canvas site itself. So I'm going to go over the course policy sheet. I'm not going to read everything on here, but I just want to point out some things on here. Thankfully, my phone number is not listed on here. I have an office phone that if you call, I will never answer it. I never check the voicemail. It's not on, the phone is not on my desk. I share my office with a couple other people, and I'm just not going to touch that phone for probably a year. So if you want to get a hold of me, then definitely do it at this email. So this is my last name at vt.edu. If you call me Zach by mistake, then you are just like about a quarter of my students do that every semester. So I won't be offended, but again, my name is Kyle. So let's do something real quick where I show you the kind of emails that I like to get. Okay. So when you're sending me an email, this is sort of the communications part of this, right? So if you're in a professional environment, this is always a good rubric to use, especially if you have some bad news to deliver. Here's the kind of emails that I like. Hi, Kyle, comma. And then, like I said, especially if you have some bad news, just say something like, nice about the weather. So this is my example. I mowed the lawn today, and it smelled great, right? Fresh cut grass. So You know, just something nice. Then whatever your question is, or comment, you know, whatever it is you need to tell me, right? Whatever the bad news is. And then you can sign off with your name. People like to use best or cheers, whatever it is. Another piece that is important is if you're asking me about, you know, like a grade item or something that's on your Canvas site that I need to look at specifically, or if you're asking a question about what happened in a particular recitation, include your CRN. So your CRN is that number that comes after Math 1225 on the Canvas site. So I think it's something like 84672, and yeah, I'm only teaching 3 sections of Calculus 1 this semester. So if it's relevant, include your CRN, or if you can't find that, just you can also tell me the time you meet. The time you meet for recitations, and that'll give me a better indicator of how I can find your grades, or how I can find you know, an answer to your question. I'm showing you this because sometimes I get very, very long and overly informative emails. And when I have, you know, 20 emails to go through at the beginning of my day, just reading something very long, sometimes people act like they're, you know, I'm off at war and they're writing me this very long letter and they say, "Hi, Professor Kyle, please, you know, I apologize for blah, blah, blah," and describing, you know, their symptoms in great detail of why they're sick. But the shorter, the better, right? Just include all the relevant information, and that won't be rude, right? That'll just make me happy. So that's what I'm looking for in the emails. Doesn't have to be about mowing the lawn either. Just any just nice little tidbit to brighten my day would be great. Okay, so let's look at this thing here. I think everybody here has passed the prerequisite. So you are able to sign up for this class, but just double check that you fall into one of these 3 categories. The online lecture videos, those are the modules that I showed you that Kelly does. And you'll be expected to kind of keep up with those according to the syllabus schedule. So again, this will give you an idea of what you should have accomplished by week 1, week 2, and so on. The in-person recitation sessions. So you know which one you're in now. And that means that you are expected to show up to those. If you can't show up to the in-person recitation sessions, show up to the online ones on Zoom. If you can't show up to either of those for any reason, then you'll need to schedule an office hour with me. So that can be accomplished through an email. Just say, hey, this is the range of time that I can meet with you. If you need to schedule office hours, please send me an actual range of times that work for you. Don't say what works for you. That way, when you ask what works for you, then I have to say, okay, well, these times work for me, what works for you? And then you say, well, none of those times work for me. And I say, okay, well, how about this time instead? And, you know, so it kind of, if you just tell me what time works for you in the time that you're asking for office hours, then that can cut out, you know, the 3 emails of back and forth. So I would appreciate it if you would do it that way. If you're showing up to online, or sorry, if you're showing up to in-person recitations, you have to wear a face covering the whole time, right? Nose and mouth covered. I'll definitely be doing that. I'll have some hand sanitizer ready. So you're going to be entering into a classroom that other people have used. So when this started, we were kind of expecting to have the staff cleaning up and disinfecting everything in between classes. And we're maybe going to have some temperature guns and other kinds of checks to ensure that everything is safe, but I'm not positive that that's going to be the case. So, bring some way to sanitize the desk that you're working at. We keep the desks 6 feet apart at least. And for that reason, I'm going to kind of ask that you leave the desks where they are and not move them around. If you have to, I might, during the recitations, ask you to kind of work in groups. So it'll probably be sort of 2 groups. In that case, I'll just have you rotate the desks in place there. Okay. Creating a supportive learning environment. So if you have a preferred name and gender pronouns that you would like me to know about, it says here that there's a name survey on Canvas. I don't believe that is showing up. So if you could just send me an email, that would be great. This is nice. This is something I wrote. Your success in the class is very important to me, and I will make every reasonable attempt to make sure that you have everything that you need to be successful in my class. If you need some support regarding this course, please email directly to me. That's how I feel, right? You are my priority, right? This is my work. All I care about is making sure that you understand calculus well, right? That's what my job is, right? At the end of the day, I have a lot of things that I need to do, but I want to make sure that you understand this material as the best you can. Yeah, if there's anything I can do to make that a reality, then please let me know. All right, for the weight of the exams and all the different pieces of the course, this is the grade breakdown. I use both of these and kind of see which one gives you the best grade. Something that I want to point out about this, though, is that the exams are a huge part of your grade, right? So I think that you should take everything seriously, right? Do the WebAssign, do all the written assignments, watch all the lecture videos, do as well as you can on the quizzes. But your grade in this class is basically the exams. So everything builds up to the exams in this class, right? The reason that you're doing this WebAssigns is so that you can practice the skills you need for the exam. The reason you're doing the written assignments is so that I can see what misconceptions people have, right? So you are getting a grade, for these written assignments and turning in the lecture notes and things like that. But it's all to serve you having the skills to finish the exam. So just kind of respect the fact that the exam is going to be 80% of your grade. 80% of your grade is exams. So, get lots of studying in. Don't try to cram for this class, right? I'm sure you'll hear that probably in every syllabus day conversation. So just want to get that out of the way, right? Do a little bit each day. I'm somebody that the first time that I took Calculus 1, I got a D in it. So I think part of that was I showed up to calculus feeling like I was very smart, but realizing that in some classes, this one included, that it's not enough to just be smart. You also need to put in the work, right? I promise if you read the textbook, if you watch the lecture videos, if you take notes, if you do the written assignments and don't just look up the answers, right? If you really try to understand this material, then every hour that you spend putting into this class is going to pay off, right? It's the style of these exams means that we can ask a lot of questions, cover a lot of different topics. So you're never wasting your time if you want to get a good grade in this course. Just put in the hours, right? All of you that are in this course, you got into Virginia Tech. So that means that you have a really strong aptitude for doing college work, right? That's why you're here at Virginia Tech. But I will say that the caliber of work, or kind of the expectations and the presentation of the material at Virginia Tech is very different from what you might see in an AP Calculus course. So in an AP Calculus course, the goal is to get you to pass an exam. So even if you are coming into this class with some AP Calculus knowledge, or even if you got a 4 or a 5 on the AP Calculus exam, I know a lot of students kind of show up already having done well on the AP Calculus exam, but that doesn't guarantee success in this course, right? The presentation that Virginia Tech has of this material is very rigorous, which is good, right? You want to have that skill set for your engineering courses. Yeah, I guess just, give this course all the effort that you can, right? And I promise it'll pay off. Okay. Some more work here. The WebAssigns. So if you are having trouble with the WebAssign, getting access to it, then I will try to help you out with that. I sort of have a limited amount of knowledge of what you should be doing in order to make WebAssign work for you if it's not working. So I do have an email address of a representative that I can give to you, and they'll be able to answer your questions. One specific part of the WebAssign is that we're using the 9th edition now, which is a brand new edition this year of the textbook. So if you have access to the 8th edition, I believe it should automatically roll into access for the 9th edition. But if that's not working for some reason, then just send me an email and you'll have access to the 9th edition. We can get that working for you. The derivative test is a pass-fail exam. If you get above an 80% on it, then that means that you understand derivatives and how to do them to the best of their, or to Virginia Tech standards. Then you get the full 5% towards the grade. So everybody will need to do this. You get 2 attempts at it, and we'll have to figure something out if you don't pass the exam twice. But yeah, I think that the derivative test is designed to sort of be an indicator for you that you're ready for calculus 2, right? That you have these basic skills. So I don't think it should be a problem as long as you study, but this will sort of be, if you've taken AP Calculus, this would be very similar to what you might see in an AP Calculus exam. Okay. So the exams, there's 4 midterm exams and then 1 final exam. So the format for these is you're going to have a multiple choice exam. You'll have 30 minutes to do it. Those 30 minutes that you're able to do it are up to you. So you can start it anytime between 7 and 10 p.m. on this one, for example. But once you start that timer, you'll have 30 minutes to do it. In the past, they've been about 6 questions. So you'll get about 5 minutes for each question. They're multiple choice, and they'll sort of test things that are maybe a little bit more visual or just quick questions that we can ask you. And then the other part of the exam is what we're calling free response. So you'll see here that there's a 24-hour window from 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. where you'll have access to this exam. So you'll get a PDF of the free response part of the exam, and then you'll have as much time as you can allot to that in that 24-hour period, but you need to submit that free response part by 8 p.m. right on this day. So that's how the final exam is going to be structured. Depending on, I can't give you a breakdown right now of how much is going to be on the multiple choice and how much is on the free response. That's going to vary from exam to exam. So you now know when the exams are if you look at the syllabus. So what that means is if you have any conflicts with that, then you need to let me know as soon as possible. That way I can figure out a time for you to do a makeup exam. But this course should take priority over things like, having a lab or something else from another class, or certainly a work schedule, right? The expectation is that you'll be able to find some time in these windows to take the exam. Grading appeals. So if you think that I missed some points, or if I graded something incorrectly, then once I return it, you have 1 week to let me know about that. This is sort of to prevent at the very end of the semester, somebody's trying to bring all this information to me about points that they think they deserve. So you need to come to me early with these. So when you get your exam back, look through it, right? Make sure that everything makes sense. You can even double check my points on there. If I give you more points, then you just got lucky. But I usually do my own double checking and triple checking. All right, speaking of getting away with extra points, the honor system. So read this in its entirety, right? Um, I have people, I taught this course over the summer, and I had some people do things like check their exam with other people. You can't do that, right? This is, we're trying to recreate an environment that we would see normally in class. So that means no calculators, right? No textbook for the multiple choice part, no notes. You are there using your own mind and some blank sheets of paper to do work on. That's the expectation, right? As far as the written assignments and things like that go, I am well aware of the fact that for these textbook problems, at least, and probably other, just basic derivatives, that the answers are available online, right? You can find these. But I guess I'll appeal in this way. You will probably get away with finding the solutions. There's some incorrect solutions, right? We just have a new edition on here, so things might be wrong, right? If you are going to look at the solutions, either in the back of the book or find something online, you're only doing a disservice to yourself, right? That bump in your grade doesn't mean anything, right? The best way that I can tell you to succeed in a class like this is to do the homework assignments, like do those written assignment problems, right? Those suggested syllabus problems. Start with a blank sheet of paper. Do those from start to finish, right? That's the test environment, right? The environment where you have somebody explaining, like in the lecture videos, talking you through the process, that's very different to be able to follow along with that, to actually recreate it yourself, right? I've seen people study where they look at worked out examples and then they immediately look to the solution and say, yep, I would have done that and that and that and that. That's a totally different skill set from what you need for the actual exam. Anyway, I'll probably be repeating all this before a week or so before the first exam. So I'm going to try and keep this video short by just saying you're going to be taking this course, you're going to be taking other math courses later on. Any honest work that you put into this course is going to pay off later. And any dishonest work that you do, it can result in, at worst, I catch you. So I have done this before. I've given out an F-star grade, which means that it's an F and you have to go to an academic integrity class. In the case of one student, they just were not allowed back to the university, right? They were on, a scholarship that didn't allow for that sort of thing. I don't have any problem with giving that out. If I find out that people are cheating, that's incredibly unfair to the people that are honestly working and get a C+, right, in the class. Anyway, that's what I'll say about that. I think that's everything that I wanted to show you for this. I'm not sure what my time's at for this recording, but I'm sure it's longer than you wanted to watch for a introduction to the class. So if you have any other questions, go ahead and email me. And otherwise, I will see you at Recitations, either in person or online.